It is 6:30 p.m. and I would like to call to order the April 19th, 2023 regular board meeting of the Niles, Maine District Library Board to order. Margaret, please call the roll.
Thank you. Trustee Derblick?
Here.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Here.
Trustee Makula?
Here.
Trustee Rosansky?
Here.
Trustee Olson?
Here.
Trustee Keene?
Here.
Trustee Kadir?
Is on his way.
Thank you.
Thank you. Number 3 on the agenda is the Pledge of Allegiance. Could we all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. At this time, I will reiterate the rules for our board meetings. As board president and
Point of
presiding
order.
officer, it is my responsibility to preserve and maintain decorum at all times during official meetings of the library board. Your point of order is denied.
Not a surprise.
Trustee Rosansky?
I just made, sorry if
Trustee
I offended you.
Rosansky, please
Sorry if I
understand
offended
that as board president, I make statements during the meeting which do not apply to point of order.
you. Those that you just made do apply to
As
point
such,
of order.
this board will not tolerate outbursts and interruptions during our meetings. I am asking that each member of the public respect that and to conduct yourself accordingly. If, on the other hand, you do interfere with the orderly conduct of the meeting or you persist in disorderly, disruptive conduct, I will have you removed from the meeting. Any conduct which interrupts the consideration of library district business is considered disruptive, including but not limited to shouting out, clapping, snapping, hissing, etc. during the meeting. Public participation and comment will be permitted during the public comment portion of the agenda, consistent with the library rules. Remarks shall be made from the speaker's podium only. Abusive and profane comments will not be permitted and will promptly be ruled out of order. If you persist, you will no longer be allowed to speak. The board vests in me, as the board president, the authority to terminate the remarks of speakers who fail to adhere to the rules. Individuals addressing the board must at all times adhere to the library policies and other rules as may be necessary for the efficient and orderly conduct of the meeting. All public comments should be addressed to the board as a whole, and no comments should be addressed to individual members of the board, library staff, or other members of the public body. Thank you. Number 4 is public comment. Cindy, will you call the first person for public comment?
Starting time.
Oh, and public comment is beginning at 6:33.
Pat Ann Sweeney?
My name is Pat Ann Sweeney. I've been in the library on staff since 2011. Southwest Asia's Fertile Crescent was where the first libraries arose some 5,000 years BCE. In time, library collections grew to include stories and histories, objects and tools, artifacts and art. Libraries hold the fruits of the human phenomenon known variously as society, civilization, or community, and are a deep acknowledgement of their value. To say that libraries will one day soon be obsolete or irrelevant is to woefully discount or miss altogether what societies and civilization are. A public library provides equal access to everything within it. Nothing is required, not even a library card, to avail oneself of its resources. Nothing can bar access to the building or its materials or programs like various outreaches, programs for parents and children, language materials, books and movies, ESL classes, digital services, materials to help navigate the educational, legal, and governmental complexities of our society, and they are available for all. That all of this was put to risk by board members whose concepts of society are toxic to the very notion of a library is frightening. When we come to work, we demonstrate our affirmation of the value of human thought and endeavor, equal and open access, and the honor of fulfilling the faith of the citizens of the Niles, Maine Library District to grow and maintain their library. The citizens of the Niles, Maine Library District cannot know, after 2 years of hostility, disrespect, and pain, the extent of the effect of the demonstration of their support, and we thank them. Now, let us come together to begin the resurrection and rebuilding of the Niles, Maine District Library. Thank you.
Thank you.
Elliot Osherman.
Good evening, Board. This is Elliot Osherman, formerly of the Committee Against the Retention of the Three Snoozes. Revised name. Now it's just the two snoozes. More on this later. As usual, I have given a copy of these comments to your Executive Director for distribution to each of you, as I am expecting answers to questions I will pose. As usual, I'm addressing my comments to the whole Board, despite the fact that you've been advised by the Citizens Advisory Council and by the Attorney General's office that that requirement is unconstitutional and has been deemed so by a specific court case. As usual, I begin with my 9 declarative sentences, that I will be neither silenced nor interrupted, nor will we, nor will the community. That I will remember these meetings and your actions, as will we, as will the community. And finally, that I will vote gladly and proudly on April 1, 2025, as I did earlier in the year, and so will we, as we did earlier in the year, and so will the community, thankfully, as it did early in the year, providing the community with the 4 winners. My subject tonight is expansion of the Board's vocabulary. Today I will introduce you to obstruction, meaning to delay an action or process or prevent it from happening, or reducing its effect in some form. I won't mention whom. It'll soon be obvious. One example, preventing people from addressing individual public officials. One example, not putting items on the next agenda, despite constant and repeated and repetitive efforts to do exactly that. One example, not answering simple questions asked sent to your president via email. One example, not giving written copies of prepared statements to fellow board members, despite multiple requests from several board members for exactly that. One example, trying to set up a special election for replacement of a resigned board member instead of complying with the library's own bylaws that calls for the rest of the board to designate a replacement, thus forcing the legislature to have the Secretary of State designate someone, then suing to prevent that nominee from being installed. At the installation date, you did not have a notary present to administer the oath. One example of obstruction, at the March public comments, I asked 4 specific questions about the so-called changes mentioned at the February meeting. I will repeat those questions in a moment. There was no answer to any of those questions. One example, not acknowledging calls for the order of the day or denying them without even hearing it, as required by Robert's Rules of Order, and not acknowledging calls for point of order, as denied this evening, also as required by Robert's Rules of Order. One example, not asking if there's any new business, as required by Robert's Rules of Order. One last example, I note that in the advanced copy of tonight's agenda, there is no mention of communications under the President's report. Is she going to just ignore the letter from the Attorney General's office? According to Policy 327, the public has the right to pose questions to the board. I'm going to repeat my 4 unanswered questions from the last meeting. Have you changed any of the changes referred to during the February meeting about the nature of public comments and requirements or prohibitions? Have you referred the CAC letter to the library's attorney for comment or advice? Have you, the board, or the library's attorney responded to the CAC? Have you changed Policy 327 since 2019? And if so, when, how, was it at a public meeting, and was it subject to a majority vote for approval of those changes? I do expect answers to all of these 8 questions. Tonight's new questions. You received a letter from the Attorney General's office. Have you answered it yet? You received a letter from the Attorney General's office. Have you sent it to the library's attorney for an opinion, for suggestions for a response? You received a letter from the Attorney General's office. Have you made changes or procedures to be followed in the future? And do you care? In the past, I have quoted Victor Max. A fact is information minus emotion. An opinion is information plus experience. Ignorance is an opinion lacking information. And stupidity is an opinion that ignores a fact. This community has voted against candidates who have displayed ignorance and stupidity. We will do so again on April 1, 2025 for similar actions by Madam Durblick. Thank you and good night.
Thank you.
Kathy Toy.
Kathy Toy. Democracy has won. After 18 long months of waiting, the Public Access Counselor delivered a consolidated determination stating that what Carolyn Durblick, Library Board President, did at the October 20th, 2021 meeting by gaveling me down, telling me I was out of order, and to sit down after I mentioned her name in my public comments was a violation of the Open Meetings Act. Per the letter I received and sent to all the trustees and executive director, I quote, "The Public Access Counselor Office concluded that the board violated section 2.06 parentheses G of the Open Meetings Act by improperly restricting Ms. Toy public comments during its October 20th, 2021 meeting. In accordance with these conclusions expressed in the determination, this office requests that the board permit members of the public to identify and or address individual board trustees at future meetings when commenting on matters of public business, notwithstanding that the trustees are not required to respond to comments. That includes permitting members of the public to refer by name to the individuals about whom they are criticizing or otherwise commenting." End quote. I want to thank Cindy Rademacher, Trustees Keene, Olson, Kadir, and Rosansky for acknowledging that they had received my email. I hope the new board members will listen to the public and not take away their First Amendment right of speech. Thank you.
Thank you.
Susanna Tanis.
Susanna Tanis. So thank God for these 5 minutes. And talking about holding a grudge from October 21, let it go. Do I have to tell the world everything? But I don't let up. This is a 4-star library. It has a big enough budget. And if your brains are working, I know your mouths are working, but if your brains are working, you know that more and more people are going to be on a pension, and the pension alone is going to increase the budget. We have a great library. It's staffed adequately. They can delegate. They can learn on the internet. You can train each other. And the 5 notices for 5-degree librarians, we need to know why you need 5 more, okay? There's no explanation why you need 5 more. Now, I believe in attrition. If it's necessary, if someone leaves, if it's necessary, replace them. Now, it's very important that we understand that Maine Township and this library and school library park districts and all levels of government, including you and I and everyone on your block in our community and around the world, are being ripped off by the indexes S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ. They have no right to take our money on a so-called down day. So you think it's a down day, they leave us alone? They don't take our money on an up day. And we've had it with that. 80 years of being robbed, the 1% getting richer by that. So the top guy at BP and Shell, they made $12 million in 2022, and it was a record profit. There's no reason why the gasoline prices have to be doubled. We know that they're ripping us off. They could give whatever excuse they want on the radio. Most of the time, it's going to be an unacceptable excuse about some issue going around the world. They're still making multi-trillion dollar, multi-billion dollar money. So the 535 of them in Congress probably will need a special vote that they'll raise their hand, that they agree by raising their hand that they're going to not have the indexes S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ involved in what the stockholder and mutual fund holders all around the world are being paid. We are going to be paid according to the true profitability of them, all shareholders and mutual fund holders getting the same rate of profit and bonuses. If they do not say yes, that means that they're not promoting the general welfare, they're promoting the 1%, and we've had enough of that. And it has to stop, and they will not be able to come back. Now, if they do come back to Congress, the door will be open, but they cannot talk, vote, or be on a committee. And eventually, security will not allow them on the property. And we'll get by because we got you and me, and we know what fairness is. We know what promoting the general welfare is. We got mayors, and we got state legislators. Another way to reduce the tax burden is the people who are in jail have served their time for immigration, for drugs, and for theft. You could put any amount from less than 1,000. There are people going to be there in years for less than 1,000 theft. They have served their time. When they leave home and go to jail, their kids don't see them ever again. And so this is a touchy topic for me, but it has come from the Lord that we are a Christian country and we are going to do the right thing. And I've been talking about this restitution for Jews, that they'll get 15% off tuition and nursing homes because 16 million were killed and no one gave a damn. But we're going to make restitution. So I've kind of said what I wanted to say. Also, the elections. So every property has a ward so that they'll get the right ballot. And not all the country, can do this all at one time, but we're going to try. Hopefully next election, that Maine Township, and perhaps Niles, perhaps Skokie, a couple of them will try, where there won't be any early voting, and people can vote from their laptops or computers because it's too expensive having all this equipment.
Time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And as I walk back to my chair, remember, folks, what I have said, that Joe McCula and team, Ms. Schoenfeld and Ms. Derblett, were on target. They're trying to save us. I got an 8,100 tax bill, plus $2,000.
That's all public comments.
Excuse me.
I now wonder how am I going to do this for the next 30 years? Please. So people, you got to wake up. When they're trying to hold down the budget and respect because it's big enough.
Excuse me, Ms. Atanas.
And it is big enough.
Ms. Atanas, your speaking is over.
Now open up your brains and thank
Ms.
God for that.
Ms. Atanas, thank you.
Can we add a few minutes onto public comment?
Cindy, could you call the next person?
That's everyone that signed up.
All right, thank you so much. Okay, with respect to the trustees, I would like to read rules that govern the proceedings of the board. As you know, the rules of parliamentary practice.
Point of order.
Comprised in Robert's Rules of Order govern the proceedings of the board. There are certain rules contained within Robert's rules with respect to decorum. By reminding you of the rules, I hope it will lead to a more civil and productive debate, which is one of the most important concepts underlying parliamentary procedure. Robert's Rules of Order, Number 7, debate, states speakers must address the remarks to the presiding officer, be courteous in their language and deportment, and avoid all personalities, never alluding to the officers or other members by name where possible to avoid it, nor to motives of members. Trustee Rosansky, your point of order is denied once again. As president, I make statements during the meeting which do not apply to orders of the day or point of order. So I wish you would try not to continue interrupting.
Thank you.
Additionally, Robert's Rules of Order, Number 43, decorum in debate, states, in debate, a member must confine himself to the question before the assembly and avoid personalities. Further, the rule states that during debate, no member is permitted to disturb the assembly by whispering or walking across the floor or in any other way. The key words here are disturbing the assembly. All the trustees should refrain from disturbing the assembly, and you should encourage others to do likewise. Consistent with Robert's rules, I am asking each of the trustees to refrain from speaking until recognized, listen to the other side, focus on issues, not personalities, refer to any other trustee in a respectful manner, confine remarks to the merits of the pending question, refrain from attacking a member's motives. The measure, not the member, is the subject of debate. Address remarks through the chair. The application of Robert's Rules is the best method to enable the Board of Trustees, with due regard for every member's opinion, to arrive at the general will on the maximum number of questions of varying complexity in the minimum amount of time and under all kinds of internal climate, ranging from total harmony to hardened or impassioned division of opinion. Thank you for your cooperation. Okay, next on the agenda is number 5, approval of minutes. Do I have a motion?
I move to approve the minutes.
Hold on, I'm not
She
finished.
has to say the thing first.
Okay, no worries. Sorry. Jumped the gun. Sorry about that.
No problem. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the March 15th, 2023 regular board meeting?
I move to approve the minutes of the March 15th
Thank you.
regular board meeting.
Okay, we have a move and a second. Trustee Makula, any comments?
I'm good with the way they're written.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
No comment.
Trustee Rosansky?
No comment.
Trustee Olson?
No comment.
Trustee Keene?
No comment.
Trustee Kadir?
No comment.
Okay, I have a few corrections. Under President's Report,
Can you please tell us what page so we can look at it?
we're doing the board
3,
meeting
page 3.
minutes, page 2.
Page 2?
Or 3
No,
of
it's
the
page
overall
3
packet.
then, because I'm
Yeah.
looking, it's not on 2. 'Cause you said
Minutes are on
President's
page
report,
2, and I'm referring to the President's Report.
which is on page 3.
Thank you for
Yeah.
following along. I would like to remove an incorrect statement, which is in the first line, for more foreign language books at last month's meeting. And I would like to add what I said, Steve Folga's request to expand foreign language literature by candidates for Nobel Prize in Literature during his February public comments. The distinction is we're talking about Polish literature as opposed to just foreign language books. The specification here is literature. So if you could please check the video and correct that, I would appreciate it. And then also, the next sentence regarding Sasha and the marketing department, it says Sasha in the marketing department. I was actually commending both Sasha and the marketing department. If you could just change that word to and. And then also, what's missing is my statement after that. Directional and informational signage have been a priority topic for years. Looking forward to signage throughout the library by the marketing department staff.
Do you have that in writing that you could just give to us?
Sure,
It's
I
a
can
little
email it to
complicated.
you.
Thank you.
Would you check it against the minutes?
Can I, the next is the director's report,
What minutes?
which is at the bottom of that page.
Diane,
On page 3.
what minutes?
She's talking about the tape.
Well,
Right.
yes. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, is there a question?
No, it's dealt
Okay,
with.
thank you. All right, under director's report,
Yes.
okay, after the first paragraph, Cindy explains answering a question. Actually, I need to add what my question was. President Derblick questioned the accuracy of the search for programs during the end of January. During January, the search did not show numerous programs. The difference is, at that time, when searches were made, the programs didn't show. You did do a search afterwards, or you did account for 41 programs, but my question was about the accuracy of the search at that time when they didn't show. I thought there may have been a
She's
concern.
adding a sentence.
To
It's
what
not
part?
on here.
It's not.
It's a second paragraph
Do we
under
need to
director's.
hear everything that you said?
Okay,
She's
the
just
next,
saying what
the
she
next
wants to put
comment
in the
is
letter.
under other. That's on page 4. After trustee Rosansky's comment, I responded. President Derblick responded with a correction. The agenda items are determined by the president. You cannot insert majority rules where it does not apply. Please follow the guidelines for board meetings. So I can send this to you, but again, the minutes need to be an accurate summary. So if you
So I-
don't put in the response
Yeah,
to
I
her
will-
comment, then it's not accurate.
That should be worded as President Derblick responded by saying.
Okay, I'm lost. What page are you on here even?
She's
And I would
on
like a
page
copy of what
other.
you have there. I don't
She's
want it
on-
emailed to me.
She's on page 4.
Other.
Other,
She's under where it says, my comment on, under other. She's saying her response needs to be in there. Will you please repeat your response so they can write
Sure,
it down?
President-
I'm not
Derblick-
writing it down. I'm going to copy your paper if you don't mind.
Okay, right now, no, I'll send it to you.
Well, I'd
President
rather
Derblick-
copy it so I know it's the same as what
Okay,
you've
right
read.
now, well, you have to check the video, because right now, the trustee manual requires that.
Well, I
I'll be
don't
glad-
think what you're saying is on the video.
Oh, it is, because I listened to it, and that's where I got it from. President Derblick responded, "The agenda items are determined by the president. You cannot insert majority rules where it does not apply. Please follow the guidelines for board meetings." So I will send that to you. I don't know where on the video it is, but I think I went in on the video and just clicked on the items, and that's where I was able to hear this.
Okay, so the minutes are a summary, right?
Exactly.
Not a verbatim.
Not
No,
all
they're
your
a summary, but you
responses
But
don't
she
count.
wants it
But
verbatim.
you need to be accurate with including my statement. How you want to write it is one thing, but the statement needs to be
How about all
accurate.
our responses?
Can we just defer this approval till next month, once this stuff is included?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I motion to defer approval of the March 15, 2023 regular board meeting minutes until the May meeting upon insertion of the items requested by President Derblick.
I second.
Okay, thank you.
Do we need to vote on that?
Margaret, you want to call a roll?
Trustee Derblick?
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee Rosansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Kadir?
Yes. I just want to make one comment in this regard, and that is that in the future, if trustees notice any discrepancies in the minutes from what they said, if they could go to either Margaret or Cindy in advance and ask for the correction so that we don't have to go through this at the board meeting. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is number 6, payment of bills. Do I have a motion to approve operating expenses of 100, I'm
She
sorry?
has to say it.
Sorry. Jump the getting.
It's okay, he's excited.
Number 6, payment of the bills. Do I have a motion to approve operating expenses of $196,889.73, payroll expenses of $212,546 for a total monthly expense of $409,435.73?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, I'd like to state that my motion includes a $75 decrease from the number that is listed on the agenda, and I wanted to bring it to the board's attention. I'm not sure if you're aware of this, but the library's vending contract is up for renegotiation, and I had asked that the contract, that the company be aware that our new board will be will be seated in May, and at that time, the board should review options for a vending contract. Right now, the contract that we have, the library is responsible for the licenses, and the library does not receive any income from the vending machines. I thought we might be able to do a little bit better for the library. So what I've done is I've taken the $75 out because I believe that should be a cost that should be paid by the company as opposed to the library.
So is this a $75 advance you're asking to be removed? Like, what's the 75
The
bucks?
$75 is for the licenses and,
But meaning for the license going forward?
well, that's just it. It should be for the license going forward, but I'm not sure, Cindy, how you handled that.
It's the license.
Where are we?
It's the license beginning
She
May
asked
1st.
Cindy.
It is the village license required because we have vending machines in the building that we have always paid at $75. The company that is currently servicing the vending machines agreed to pay the fee, but the contract is not settled. But they have agreed to pay the fee if they get the contract.
So when does the contract, the new contract begin?
Begins once it's negotiated.
So what was decided about the period of time from when the contract ended till the new board gets to decide on a contract?
Well, there was no decision made about that period of time.
Well, was there a conversation? I think our last conversation was that I had asked if you could bring it to their attention.
I
since
did
we-
communicate with them
since
that
we
the
will
new
not-
board
if I
would
could just
continue the
finish,
negotiations.
that the new board would not be seated until May, and for this period of time, if they chose not to allow us to use the machines, that would be fine.
No, that is not what you said.
Yes, I
No,
doubted
that
they
is
would
not
do
what you
that
said.
because they're making money and we're not getting any money. So I just wanted to know what is happening to this period of time.
The period of time is that the vending machines are here and they are still servicing them.
And
And
the
in fact, they brought a new machine the other day which has a credit card reader.
Great.
Which is something that we
So-
need.
Great. So my question is, since you're saying the contract will be approved, the start of the contract will be when it's approved, is it going to be retroactive?
Well, that needs to be negotiated.
Cindy, let me ask one more question. When is the village fee due?
May 1st. And there's a
Okay.
50% penalty if it isn't paid.
So
I'd
we
like
should
to
pay
make
the
an
village.
motion to amend the payment of the bills for the full amount of $196,000.
Okay, I'm not finished, Trustee King, if you could just hold off.
Make an amendment.
Sure.
I have a
Finish.
question.
Yep.
Since the $75 are due, are they due? Why? Because the contract should be enforced now. Is that why this $75 is due?
They're due because the village has a vending license fee and we have vending machines.
I know. The
So it's
vending
not-
licenses expire on a particular date. So I'm trying to figure out why, since we don't have an agreed contract, that we have vending licenses that are due. What is the
Well, it has
date?
nothing to do with the contract. There are other places in
When
the
did the
village
vending
that
license-
the vending machine companies do not pay the license fee.
I know, that's not the question. The question is, when did the vending license expire? And now we're responsible to renew it, and we don't have a contract.
Well, I
Isn't that how that
imagine,
works?
since it's due May 1st, I imagine it expires April 30, 31,
So then
whatever.
what we're going to have to do is have a contract that then begins with May 1st. Is that what you're saying?
Well, that's up to the board. I don't think we're here to negotiate the contract.
I think we should just make an amendment to this to solve the problem.
So we'll decide when the contract begins later. Is that what you're saying? And this, paying the $75 will just be a temporary license and it may need to be replaced?
The $75 is for an annual license with the village that we have paid since 2012 when the vending machines arrived.
I know, but Cindy, we don't even have a contract and we don't even know if we're going with this company. So I'm trying to figure out, what are we going to do with this $75 license fee when we finally agree to a contract? This is just to get us through this lull? Is that what this means? That's what I'm trying to understand.
Well, I have no comment.
Oh,
think
can I make the amendment now?
Yes, please.
Yes.
As part of the new board, I feel confident spending the $75, and then we will have a whole year to review other contracts or other proposals as we see fit. So I would like to make an amendment to pay the bills in the original amount of
96.
409,000. Is this correct, what's on the agenda, Cindy?
Yeah.
Yes.
So $409,000, $409,510.73.
I second.
Margaret,
You're gonna
please call
change
the roll.
First number, 196. Operating.
I don't know, do we need to change the first, all the numbers that are on the agenda are correct, right?
All right, I will
the
read
whole
it
list.
They
into
include the
I'll read it.
$75, yes.
Thank you,
I will read
Margaret.
the motion. I will reread the motion because it needs to be on the video. Do I have a motion to approve operating expenses of $196,964.73, payroll expenses of $212,546 for a total monthly expense of $409,510.73?
Yes, move.
I second.
Okay, and that was, who was moving?
Becky moved, I seconded.
Okay.
Can I make a comment on the new motion, or are you going to go through the roll first?
No, go right ahead.
Okay. I thank you, President Durblick, for bringing up that point. I believe that when we negotiate the new contract, we should ask whoever has the new contract to pay that $75.
I agree.
I agree with that, but if we don't pay it before April 30th, the reason I'm moving to approve paying of it now, if we don't pay it before April 30th, then we'll be in violation of village ordinance, I presume, if the vending services continue. So to not have a disruption in the services, we pay it now, and then whoever gets the contract pays us back. I think that's a better way of doing
That's a
it.
possibility, absolutely. Okay, thank you.
Can
Any
I-
other comments?
Can I say something?
Oh, go right
I
ahead.
think any contract we offer out, because they're doing the business, they're basically supposed to be licensed. They're the business person that has to be licensed. So
Well,
they
that's
should
not what
be-
the village said.
Well, whatever contract we put out, I agree with Mr. Kadir that it should include the vending machine company paying for the licensing.
Agreed. That's what I'm saying, but just, we
And the
can't do
markup-
that before the village is
Right.
due,
Okay.
so that's why.
The markup
motion-
on that, those products there is sufficient for them to cover that easily. And we should also
Okay.
get some type of commission on sales.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? I guess not. Margaret, please call the roll.
Well, I have a comment. So both of those items were in the proposed contract that you would not put on the agenda last month, so.
No, you
Just-
mean the proposed contract that was just changed and reviewed by the attorney. I just got a copy of it.
Well, it was last month. It was going to be on the agenda, yes.
Okay, and back to my original statement, we need to provide the board with more than one option to make a decision.
Oh, I
They
wish
should
you had
have
thought of
three
that when you hired
quotes.
Heinzelman.
They should have 3 quotes so that we can make a determination. Since the library for 12 or 11 years has had a vending contract where we had to pay the license, and so we never made 5 cents on any of those machines, it needs to be reevaluated, and we should do that through companies that offer this service, because competing for our business will be better for the library.
We agree with you. Can we do our vote now?
President Durblick, may I confirm something with you? Can you
Sure.
give me the amounts you originally stated? I want to make sure I have them right.
Okay, we're talking about the amount,
You
Minus
originally
the
stated
75.
200.
I just want to make sure for the record I have it down.
oh, so the change that I gave was operating expenses of $196,889.73.
Perfect. And the total?
409,000, wait a minute.
435.
It's 435.73. I
Yes.
think it was different. That's why I
No,
was
no,
checking.
it was
Is it correct?
435.73.
Thank you.
That's
So
it.
409, 435.73. Thank you. Now we will take the vote on the amended motion, which is the original that was stated on the agenda. Trustee Durblick?
I abstain.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes.
Trustee Makula?
Yes.
Trustee Rozansky?
Yes.
Trustee Olson?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
Trustee Kadir?
Yes.
So 6 yeses, 1 abstain, passes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on the agenda is number 7, Trustees Reports. Okay, 7A is the President's Report. A couple of weeks ago, I had the opportunity to interact with library staff outside of the library. At that time, a staff person was screaming at a resident that the library spent $110,000 for attorney's fees. I tried to interject the library unionized and an attorney was necessary to represent the library. The staff member shouted, "The roof was leaking, buckets were all around the library," and I replied that was not true. The roof was not leaking, and it is not leaking. That's why the $700,000 tear-off was unnecessary. However, BEC made holes in the roof for testing and improperly filled them, which caused leaks in a department. The holes have since been properly repaired. The staff person yelled that I have an answer for everything. I responded, "These are facts, and facts don't change." Lastly, I explained Steve Folga's request was for Polish literature books by Polish Nobel Prize candidates, not simply books in Polish. This staff person was very angry and now frustrated to hear her false statements disproved. This situation clearly confirmed that the lies and disinformation repeatedly echoed for the past 2 years by opposing trustees, politicians, union reps, and the media have created hostility and divisiveness among the library staff, trustees, and the community, which will have long-lasting effects. Politicians rewrote library legislation not once but twice to assure their immediate power and control of the library board. The task of changing this hostile and divisive library climate and culture will require honest and transparent governance with genuine collaboration among the 7 trustees, the library staff, and the residents. Moving forward towards a positive Niles Main Library future is the only option to reverse the continuous decline in our library. Thank you for choosing to be part of the solution.
Hypocrites.
Next item on the agenda is 7B, Trustees. Trustee Makula, do you have anything?
No, I don't.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes, I'd like to say a few things. I'd like to congratulate Ariana Carey for the Youth Services for being nominated for the Niles Night of Roses, hosted by the Niles Chamber of Commerce, for her hard work and dedication to our youth. Also, I'd like to ask everyone to actually vote until April 21st to nominate Ariana Carey. And I encourage everyone to visit our library website for translating the actual meetings and other events that take place. And I'd like to actually welcome the new staff members for digital services. Elisa, sorry, I do not know how to pronounce the last name, but I will try. Zulkowski, Brian Madrin, and James Brady, and I'd like to welcome them on their journey to a successful and blossoming forthcoming of the new businesses around our community. I was delighted to see 309 attendances for the reading club. And kids space, I was actually intrigued by the 347 students. And also Rise and Shine story time for 120. And also I was very delighted to see the newest art exhibit, Faces, by Peter on, I'm sorry, I don't know how to spell that.
It's a hard one.
Yeah, Antonow. He did a beautiful job with the vibrant images of human faces. And that is all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Rosansky?
Yes, and as usual, I'm not going to touch on everything that I've been here for and have seen at the library this past month, but I do have a few that I feel more than deserve comment on. The take and make for this month was an origami flower, I believe it was either a lily or a lotus blossom. I really think those people in digital services go out of their way for the take and makes. Last Friday night was the reception for this artist that was just mentioned, who has the display on the 3rd floor. Like I said last month, please come and see it. He also had a workshop the next day, Saturday. It was well attended, so well attended, there were so many people who are on the backlog to sign in for it, he actually doubled the amount of people who could attend. I'm grateful for that because then I was able to attend. Sorry about this. He also, this is the one thing that I thought was very nice, as he was doing his workshop, he was demonstrating up on the stage here, drawing from a live figure, and he donated that to the library, which I think was very nice. Once again, I would like never mind. I would also like to congratulate Ariane, Carrie, for her nomination. Hopefully, all goes well at the Night of Roses. And thank you. I will be there to hopefully watch her receive her award.
Thank you. Trustee Olson?
Yes, thank you, trustees, for commending our librarians and our staff for their wonderful work. I, too, would like to congratulate the staff for their creativity and their hard work this past month. As usual, I enjoy reading your library highlights. I also appreciate all the others who have shown us support these past few weeks. They've been tough. And especially thanks to our community, because they're our very backbone. And thank you for coming out and supporting us. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Keene.
Yep. I would also like to welcome all the new staff. I'm not sure how many we have at this point. I think it's 9, but 7. Welcome to the 7 new staff. I'm very excited to have you all on board. I got to meet a couple of them so far, and it's been very nice, and happy smiling faces are nice to see around the library again. I was able to go to the Chamber of Commerce breakfast yesterday again, and was happy to learn all the things they had to say about succession planning, mostly for businesses, but it's easy to translate it into your own life. So that was very pleasant. And I just, it was kind of sad to see when I came in tonight, the big sign by KidSpace directing people to go upstairs because they couldn't have their reading challenge in this room again. And then even while we've been sitting here in the meeting, a kid came in looking for the reading challenge and was very confused to find himself looking at me instead. So I'm looking forward to not having to move programs out of this room for board meetings again. Thank you.
Thank you, Trustee Kadir.
I want to start off by congratulating Ariane Carey on her nomination for the Niles Night of Roses. It just goes to show we have amazing staff here, and we'd like to keep it that way. And I want to thank all of the staff again for everything you do. A couple comments about programming. Unfortunately, I could not bring my kids to the animal activity. I'm forgetting the name of it, but it was, I looked at it online. It seemed really cool. I wish I was able to attend with my children. We're definitely looking forward to the Lego Day coming up. So, my kids are big Lego fans, so we want to see, more stuff like this. It's just wonderful, the programming the library offers for all ages. So again, thank you, very heartfelt thank you to all of the staff for everything you do to put these things on, to make this library a welcoming place for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. I just had a couple things. I attended the Supremes of Justice, the 6 female Supreme Court justices. There were 2 presenters who also provided a PowerPoint presentation. The room was actually filled. I just had one question. I noticed a lot of people, including myself, were hurriedly writing notes. And I noticed that when I go to conferences or lectures and there's a PowerPoint presentation, usually the attendees are given a paper copy of the PowerPoint. It helps you keep notes or make notes. And I was wondering, is it possible to request that when we have such a presentation that the presenters provide those copies for the attendees or for the patrons? Because it would make it, it would make it easier, plus it'd be something that identifies the entire presentation. I'm sure our notes are nowhere near as good as a copy of the PowerPoint. Is that something that we could look into?
It's something that's often provided. It really depends on the speaker, whether they're comfortable doing that or not.
Mm-hmm. So we don't request it. If they show up with it, they show up. Then I'm saying, can we approach them and ask for it in the future so that it might be available?
Of course.
I just thought it would be helpful. Thank you. And then another thing was that I came across the Sally Field presentation, which was videotaped, and I was actually on my computer working on some documents, and all of a sudden it just popped up. I'm obviously switched from screen to screen, and I did watch it. It was incredible. She was amazing, and her life experiences and lessons were remarkable. But I was wondering, since somehow it's a video, it's already videotaped, is it available on the library website where people can go to watch it over and over?
That is also contracted with individual performers, and they give us license for a period of time if they want to have the video available for patrons.
Okay, so is there somewhere on the library website where it indicates what videos are available from the programs that we recently had?
Yes.
And where would that be?
Well, I can show you, but I cannot explain it to you.
Okay, no problem. I just thought that would be something that we'd like to make available, or at least advertise it for our patrons, especially since if we have some of them. All right, well, thanks. That's all I had. Next item on the agenda is number 8, the director's report.
Didn't you want to go through the director's report?
Secretary's report.
Oh, I am so sorry. All right. Next is treasurer's report.
There isn't a
Secretary's report.
secretary, is there?
You skip Suzanne.
Joe, treasurer's report?
Yes, but
Thank you.
we missed it. Is there
She
is there
doesn't have
secretary's
anything
report?
under her name, no. Or under her title,
None. Okay.
no.
Okay. March is the 9th month of our budget year. We received $1,652,574 in revenue. At the close of the month, we had $13,975,196 in cash and investments. Salaries for March were $211,093. Employee fringe benefits were $53,136 for a total of $264,229. This is our largest expense. We had purchases of $36,667 in library materials. This budget year to date, we have purchased $427,779 in new materials. Library operating expenses for April were $30,224. General and administrative expense was $35,704. Utility costs for March were $7,826. Building and equipment maintenance was $11,712. Total expenditures for April were $403,509. Total expenditures for this budget year are $3,735,110.
Okay, thank you. All right, that takes care of our trustee reports. Next on the agenda is the director's report number 8. Okay, Cindy, I know you provided us with your library activity statistics, monthly program statistics, and the highlights. Did you want to add anything in addition?
Yes. Okay, starting on page 18. For the library activity. But I too wanted to congratulate Youth and Teens Supervisor Ariane Carey for being nominated for the Chamber of Commerce Award for the dedication to youth excellence. And also, Christina Bannock was invited to be a judge during a reading competition for the Academy of Polish Language for Children and Teenagers, which was held last week. Also, I attended a CCS board meeting, governing board meeting, and Warren Newport, Mount Prospect, and hopefully eventually Waukegan in the next year will be joining the CCS consortium. So on page 18, the library activity, there is increases in visitors, in ebooks, and online database usage. Increase in the number of holds placed, which is good for the future because those books come in down the road. Items lent to CCS libraries, laptop usage, KidSpace study rooms, Makerspace. Passports set an all-time record by processing 322. All departments had increases in one-to-one instruction sessions. Wireless printing is up. Volunteer hours are up. And the service desk interactions at the patron service desk and the second floor service desk, which are 2 desks that have staff there all the time, are up as well. I also sent to the trustees the quarterly statistics for 2018 through 2023. And did everybody get a copy of that?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Could I get a paper copy of that, please?
yes.
Thank you.
So the monthly visitor sheet shows a continued return of
Here, so I can
in-person
watch.
visitors
Thank you very much.
towards the 2018-2019 levels. We have a ways to go. But this is one measure of the door count. What is not on here are the virtual visitors who search the catalog from wherever they are, go directly to the Libby app for ebooks and e-audiobooks, or directly to Hoopla or other databases for streaming services. They are also using their library, but using it virtually.
Is there any way to get those numbers?
It's very difficult. I mean, they show up on individual database reports, but it's hard to get an aggregate number.
Okay, thank you. Because I think that would bring our numbers up.
Yes, yes. Material loans, you will see increases over 2019 in both databases and streaming and digital material loans. So the monthly program statistics are on page 21. The lower youth and teen audience programs and attendance totals continue to reflect the current staffing situation. The programs that are offered continue the tradition of high standards for which the department is known. As staff are onboarded and trained, I look for a gradual building back of a more robust programming schedule. Adult audience programs are up over last year in both number and attendance. Digital audience are also up in attendance numbers. Looking at the quarterly statistics, 2018 through 2023 through March 31, the number of youth programs for March 2023 is 62% lower than March of 2019. Attendance for youth programs for March of 2023 is 56% lower than March of 2019. So we definitely have some room to recover. Program attendance for adult and digital audiences have recovered faster and have actually surpassed the 2019 level at this point.
Excuse me.
I thought that was mine.
Delete this. Oh.
Accessing the library website to see, you can see many of the other offerings, including the March highlights. Youth librarian Kate Levinson added an interesting explanation on collection development process that she uses for the youth services material. There are many pictures and details of the 83 programs enjoyed by over 2,400 attendees last month. Next week, we are celebrating National Library Week, and programs include Lego Day, which was mentioned on Saturday, which is always a fun program. On Monday, April 14th, the Illinois State Senator Ram Vilavalam will be here for a live media event to celebrate the soon-to-be famous Illinois Author Project. Winner, Alina Rubin. Alina is a district resident and a participant in Robin Comey's Creative Writing Club. On Wednesday, April 26th, we have an exciting program, an evening with Thridi Unregar. Is a virtual conversation. She's an Indian-American journalist, critic, and novelist. Her most recent novel, called Honor, is a Reese's Book Club pick. Very high honor. This event is in partnership with the Glenview, Lincolnwood, Park Ridge, and Skokie libraries, but it was coordinated through this library. Displays for the month of April, we have Novel Destinations, which are books set in faraway locations. Displays on Money Matters, which also had 2 programs, Making the Most of Your Food and Funds, and Digital Rebates and Couponings, both of which will be available to view on video through the library website or the library YouTube channel if you missed them. Displays on Poetry Month, Jazz Appreciation, and Disability Awareness are also throughout the library. A new database that was added is ABC Mouse, which can inspire your child, age 2 to 8, to love learning and build confidence in reading, math, and more. So I do have a staff update. The half-day staff day that was scheduled for Friday, May 5th is being postponed until fall, as it turns out that the Illinois Library Association's Reaching Forward Conference for Professional Development for library staff is also on May 5th, and several staff from various departments will attend. The staffing level numbers for March that are in your statistics include new staff members: James Brady, Makerspace Assistant; Alicia Sokowski, Digital Services Assistant; Brian Madrid, Digital Services Assistant; Percy Byron, Patron Services Associate 2; substitutes in youth services had a total of 26 hours In March, Giselle Lebrec, Williette Nyanu, and Clara Sheffer. Also included temporary staff Dave Dabrowski and Claude Covington in the maintenance department. We lost Stacy Moss Paul and Wynn Scoggins in March, both adult and outreach librarians. Ella Serrano, Patron Services Associate 2, has reduced her hours by 8.5 hours per week. Starting in April, we have Dorothy Houlihan, Adult Services Librarian, Elizabeth Gunther, Patron Services Associate, Alicia Notterman, Patron Services Associate 2, Jared Dapier, Youth Services Librarian, Alexandra Byerly, Youth Services Elementary School Liaison, and starting in May, Nasim Sadusiman, Adult Services Assistant, and leaving us in May, Leslie Hartunian, Adult and Outreach Assistant. A lot of HR activity there. That concludes my report.
Thank you. Cindy, can I get a copy of that HR information? Could you email that to us? Because I wasn't able to write all those names down. Thank you.
I have something. It wasn't mentioned that I noticed, maybe it was and I missed it, but I think Bernadetta was invited to present at ILA New Network.
Oh, no, I did not know that.
So congratulations to Bernadetta.
Yes.
I saw it on Facebook. And also, I'm just wondering about Leslie Hartunian. Is she retiring or is she just not staying?
I don't
Or
know
if you
the
can't
details.
tell me that, let me know later.
Cindy, one question about the new hires. So when we lifted the hiring freeze back in December, we were looking for, some kind of, this is how many people we need in each department, so on and so forth. I think that would be helpful to have that in a meeting so that we have that public information that these are the places where we are still looking to hire people, whether or not the job has been posted or not, just so we have a comprehensive, clearly defined plan of action. If that's possible to bring that to the May meeting, that would be great.
Okay.
So,
Thank you.
these are the additional hires that are remaining. These are additional places where they're shorted. These are places that have been hired and are full now.
Okay.
Okay, are there any questions? Trustee Makula?
No questions.
Trustee Schoenfeld?
Yes, I have a question. Can I say the page, Cindy, or no?
Sure. Yes, which page?
Page 24, please.
Okay.
Community organizations meeting in the library.
Yes.
Could you please tell me a little more about this group for Lally Tourist School? What exactly is that?
I can research that and let you know. I did not interact with them personally.
Okay, is that it? All right, Trustee Rosansky?
No comment, thank you.
Trustee Olson?
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Keene?
No.
Trustee Kadir?
No further comments.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is new business, 9A. Do I have a motion to renew the Johnson Controls Fire Protection LP for 3 years, June 1st, 2023 to May 31st, 2026, with annual payments of $3,100, $3,193, and $3,288.79, totaling $9,581.79 for the Fire Alarm Enhanced Test and Inspect Plus System Labor and Panel Parts Service Solution.
I so move.
Second.
Okay.
Okay.
Take my name
Who
out
moved?
of it.
I kind
You
of,
and
Kadir?
and
yeah,
her.
I don't know.
Okay, thank you. All right, we now have a movement in a second. Trustee Makula, any questions?
No questions.
Trustee Schoenfeld.
No question.
Trustee Rosansky.
No comment.
Trustee Olson.
Nothing, thank you.
Trustee Keene.
No.
Trustee Kadir.
No comment.
Okay. Margaret, will you please call the roll?
Trustee Derblick,
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Trustee Makula,
Yes.
Trustee Rosansky,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Keene,
Yes.
Trustee Kadir,
Yes.
7-0 passes.
Thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 10, Other. Just a reminder, Other is the time for trustees to make suggestions about items not on the agenda. Other is not for personal comments, personal insults, or questions to other trustees, which will be ruled out of order. Thank you. Trustee Makula.
No comment.
Trustee Schoenfeld.
No comment.
Yes, I have comments.
Trustee Rosansky.
In order to help us moving forward, I would like to recommend 2 surveys. The first given to our staff to see about any ideas and recommendations they may have, and the second given to our patrons. Hopefully, these surveys will help us moving forward. The staff survey should be the first. After the board reviews this survey, we can then work on figuring out the survey for our community and how to distribute it by the end of summer, These 2 things should help us going forward so that we can best serve our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Olson?
Yeah, I just want to mention, I think that's a great idea, and that's really part of what a strategic plan is all about. So maybe you should consider beginning a strategic plan. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Keene.
No comment.
Trustee Kadir.
I want to second Patty's recommendation, Trustee Rosansky's recommendation of having a survey of the staff. I think that's very important to find out what's working and what isn't, so that we can, figure out what needs to be improved and figure out how we as a board can help improve that.
All right, thank you. Next item on the agenda is number 11, Adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn the regular board meeting of April 19, 2023?
I actually have to break my fast.
So motion.
Second.
Okay, thank you.
Trustee Derblick,
Yes.
Trustee Schoenfeld,
Yes.
Trustee Makula,
Yes.
Trustee Rosansky,
Yes.
Trustee Olson,
Yes.
Trustee Keene,
Yes.
Trustee Kadir,
Yes.
7-0, and the time is?
The regular board meeting of April 19, 2023 is adjourned at 7:43.